Okay. Hello, everyone. And I just got a picture of a coffee cup, and it says, "Be careful, or I may have to use you in a sermon someday." So we don't tell each other's stories too much. Hi, I'm so glad to be with you in the Prescott area, and you have snow, and I don't. I do have rain down here in Phoenix right now, but it's a lovely day in the neighborhood. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here, and I'm so excited about this month. January is such a great month for Science of Mind. Ernest Holm was born this month, and what we do is every month, as I'm sure you've heard, we do the 4 introductory chapters of the textbook. And you look at that big thick book and I'm not reading that. Read the 4 chapters, would you? Because that's like our master plan, if you will. And I always like to give it as our 2-minute elevator speech. They say, well, what's Science of Mind all about anyway? Well, there's the thing itself, God. The way it works is through us. What it does, it responds to our thinking. Now I get this other part that says, and how do we use it? So relax. You won't have to use it until we're almost at the end, but I bet you will use it because we can't help but using the law of mind. It is our mind. We are immersed in it. We even when we think we don't have a brain, like the scarecrow, we still have that mental atmosphere of spirit within our soul, within our hearts, within our hungering, within our beingness. And so what I like to do is to talk about what Ernest says about how in the world do we use this. And, those of you who have taken classes, this will be old news to you. But I'll bet you still aren't using it. One of the things that I always think about is in the book of Malachi in the Bible, it says, "Prove me now herewith." Okay, and what that is God is speaking to the people, and he's saying, she is saying, look, I told you I was going to take care of this, but no, you don't do your part to ask for it, to declare it, to claim it, to put it to use. And so the rest of that quote in Malachi is, "Prove me now herewith, if I will not open you the doors, the windows of heaven, and pour out a blessing that there shall be not room enough to receive it." There shall not be room enough to receive it. And we choke back. We choke back all the time of, well, I shouldn't ask for that because that's kind of dumb. Well, I don't know that God takes care of that part of the department store. It's all there. And we constantly, in the practice of Science of Mind, are proving it to ourselves. We don't have to prove it to God. We don't have to make sure that God's on duty. It's always on duty. We're the ones that hold back. One of the classic sayings was, if you feel like you've become separated from God, who moved? If God is everywhere present, and you can call it God's spirit, whatever you want, that law of cause and effect we speak about a lot. It's always there. It's always there. Holmes says in the textbook, he says that God must respond, must be, and we respond. Okay? And we respond by giving God an opportunity to respond to us. Okay. So Holmes says, if we believe it won't work, the law responds by appearing to not work. So we take a step back a week. God's all there is. It works through us. It works through us. How does it do that? It responds to our thinking. I have a wonderful friend, and when I get myself off in the wonky weeds, she says, "Is that really what you meant to say?" Is that really what you want? But we get caught up in, oh, isn't it awful? This won't work, that won't work. Oh my goodness, what if? And well, you know how things are in our atmosphere right now, and it will happen. Well, it doesn't happen unless we create it in our mental atmosphere, our emotional atmosphere, and our belief systems, sometimes known as RBS, our belief systems. The things that we store in our gut, in our soul, and we make that our God. We make that our truth. In the Science of Mind symbol, we have the 3 sections. At the top is the God essence, the first cause of everything. In the middle is our subjective influence, how we filter what we're being told. And then the bottom section is how we show up. Okay. And so a lot of people have begun referring to that middle section as the B cause, because the first cause, the A cause, is spirit, where everything is possible, where everything is real, everything is true. There is no, this isn't working so well. But no, we say, but you don't understand. But you don't understand. When I was, what I learned, what happened to me at work, didn't you read the news today? And we have all of these, because of these, God can't do its work. Yeah, right. That's kind of fun. God, I'm feeling sassy this morning. You shouldn't leave me in the blue room. I was there all by myself thinking of all of this stuff. But if we believe it won't work, it responds by appearing to not work. Holmes says we should be able to look at a discordant thought, look it straight in the face, and say, this isn't true. This is not the greatest truth of all. He said it's forever taking form and forever deserting the form which it has taken. Because when it no longer serves, there's no point in it being here. I was driving down a freeway in Los Angeles once upon a time, and I was having an issue with something that hadn't been serving me well. I'm sure it had to do with, money or weight or relationship. Those are the biggies, right? And I was so angry about having to face the issue again. Excuse me. And so my fist went up in the air and I hit the steering wheel and I said out loud, I am so fed up with this topic. And I had to start laughing because I realized that if I was really fed up with it, the acronym that I would then be, I would finally be expressing divine union permanently. I guess I'm not fed up enough on some stuff. I'm not really expressing my divine union permanently with regard to health, with regard to wealth, with regard to relationships, with regard to our organization, our country, our state, our neighborhood, whatever that is. If I'm not fed up enough, I'm not living in the solution. I'm not living in the solution. That's what using the science of mind is really all about. I have a wonderful brother. He's a grumpy Gus. Oh, God, he's grumpy. But he's so sweet and kind and funny at the same time. And he goes to the doctor, and the doctor tells him, hey, you're 81 years old. You broke a hip. You've got bad knees, blah, 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 blah. And he says, if you aren't careful, you're going to die of a heart attack. And my brother says, no, I'm not. And the doctor says, well, Mr. McDowell, according to statistics, he says, I'm not a statistic. Well, what makes you think that you're not going to die of a heart attack with the way you've been doing and all? You won't take the medicine I want you to take and da 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 da. Don says, I'm not going to die of a heart attack because it's not acceptable. And he believes that with his heart and soul. Yep, I'm going to die one day. I'm going to pass through the veil. I'm going to go to the next existence, which is fine with me. But don't give me this stuff about the statistics of me. Don't chastise me. Don't force me into doing your plan, because I know that I'm just fine. Now, we can do that for just a little while. We do our affirmation in the morning. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood, and I'm so happy. But Holmes says that we should be able to look at a discordant thought right in the face and deny its reality. Wait a minute, that's not the truth. I'm not living there. I don't accept it. And he says it's forever taking form and deserting the form that it's taken. And so we want to do that. We want to let go of the things that don't serve us. We want to let go of what it is that is not our reality. This is what we came here to do. And it's that daily practice, not the humma of affirmations, but am I really then taking that affirmation and making it real for me? Holmes said that of all the people in the world, the ones who have come to the nearest place of touching the seamless garment of truth have been the most sympathetic and the greatest lovers of the race. And Jesus said, and if I be lifted up, not dragged down, but lifted up, if I do that, I will draw all men, all human beings to me. And so Holmes says, we're in the world and of it, and it is good that that's so. He said, the world is right when we begin to view it correctly. Who knows what would transpire if all of us could speak a truth? He says it has never yet been tried, but let not the mouth of the profane hinder those who would enter and thereby keep them from entering. The world has never yet followed the simple ethics of Jesus, yet it is loud in its proclamation. This statement is not written in a spirit of controversy. It is one of conviction and will make its appeal only to those who are convinced that we, each of us individually, are convinced. He says, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Teachers can't make you do it. Practitioners can't make you do it. Phenomenal songs, thank you all for the music today, cannot make you do it. But it's when you are willing inside your own soul to have the realization that, by golly, this is a great place, a good life. I'm living it and I want more. Thank you very much. He says, let us return to the one who readily wishes to demonstrate the supremacy of spiritual thought force over any apparent material resistance. Let us put this in our treatment and put it in the first person and bring that into the clarity of our own lives. Be clear about our lives. So the question might be, what are you really clear about? Are you clear that you're going to be the next one to get the COVID because you know it's certain age, certain place, certain time, certain connections? Or is it, yes, this COVID thing exists, and it shall not come nigh unto me. It's not acceptable. I want to be in a full practice of this. And it's not just about illness, it's about enjoying our relationships. It's about how we make choices about our vehicles. We study and we stir and we worry and, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And the declaration that all is well in my soul is really what we're about. Yes, my vehicle is made out of tin and steel and rubber and all of that other stuff, but it's also made out of my soul because I manifested it. I called it into being in my existence. And I called it from the same source that my life and my body came from. Holmes says, I am a center in the divine mind. I am a point of God conscious life, truth, and action. My affairs are divinely guided and guarded into right action, not wrong action, right action, and into correct results, correct for me. Everything I do, say, or think is stimulated by that truth. And there is power then in the word that I speak, because it is of the truth and it is the truth. One of my teachers said, the reason we don't have more spontaneous healings and correction of events is because we really don't believe that we can do it. In some cases, we think we don't deserve it. Some think that we haven't studied long enough. We haven't. And yet the truth is that lives inside of each and every one of us. And Holmes says there is this power of the word that I speak because it is of the truth and it is the truth. There is perfection and continuous right action in my life and my affairs. All belief is wrong action. Belief in wrong action is dispelled and made negative by declaring the opposite. And the right action alone has power, and God is that power, and it's the living spirit within each of us. And that spirit animates everything that I do, say, or think. Any ideas that come to me, any of the actions that I take, that's all divine action. And when we begin to understand that, we will begin to have less needs, have less difficulties in our lives because we'll be practicing it. God, I'm preaching this morning. Yes. Joel Goldsmith said, for every great seer, every great teacher, they had an experience in their life. And that experience was profound for them, and it changed their lives. And it was so clear that they were able to give that information to their students. Oh, and those students gave it to their students, and on and on and on. He said, but if by that third generation, the people were not having their own experience, the original teaching was lost. And I believe that we are that third generation. That every single day, how we apply this, how we use it, how we speak of it, determines how we live. Not because we're waiting for God to favor us one day. It's for us to say, thank you, here, let me put that to work. We are that third generation. Holmes says, all suggestion of age, poverty, limitation, or unhappiness is uprooted from my mind and cannot gain interest to my thought. Whew. I am happy, well, and filled with perfect life. I live the spirit of truth. I am conscious that the spirit of truth lives in me. God's all there is. It works through us by responding to our thinking. Let's use it. Let's use it. He says, my word is the law unto its own manifestation, and I will bring to me or cause for me to be brought to the fulfillment of that declaration. I know, and I know that I know. That's the gift. Oh, good job. So he said, let every thought of doubt vanish from my mind, that I may always know the truth. Whew. And the truth sets me free. Wow. Science of mind means nothing? Read those 4 introductory chapters all over again, especially the tail end of how to use it, which is part of what I just read for you. Oh my goodness, what a great life this is. And yes, we get the mully grubs and we get the grumpies, and yeah, we get sick here and there and, run short of this and that. But here we are, living this life. It's a great life. Come join it with me. Let us pray and do our treatment that absolutely, beyond any shadow of a doubt, we are made of the same infinite divine stuff as this entire cosmos. Every breath that we take, every thought that we have is the activity of spirit, and we in our conscious humanness direct it to the goodness that we have been promised, that we are assured of. It is so right here and now, and we let that be our greatest truth of all. And so it is.